NIO had reached its highest price of 2025 and it looks like a lot of things are going their way right now. First of all, they have unveiled a new three-row SUV which is called ES8. We will talk about this. Basically, as soon as they did, the stock jumped about 10% to reach the high we were talking about. Second of all, they are entering 3 new markets. We will talk about that. The demand for Chinese EVs is much higher than anticipated in Europe right now, and Morgan Stanley finally gave some love to NIO and reaffirmed its buy rating with the target price of $5.9 per share, which is a rare piece of news from Wall Street, a rare piece of good news from Wall Street for NIO. We will talk about everything that I've just mentioned, and we will talk about the upcoming Q2 earnings and what to expect from it because, well, we know a lot of things about the numbers that will be in these earnings. Hello and welcome to the Market Monkeys channel. My name is Vadim. Today we're talking about NIO and everything that is going on with this company right now. So let's start with the latest news. And the latest news is that NIO had unveiled its new model, which is called ES8. It's pretty cool, it's pretty expensive, it sells for between 350 RMB to about 400 something RMB, so we're talking something like 43 to 50 something thousand dollars per vehicle. What do we need to know about this vehicle? So except for the whole technical characteristic of it, it sells for a bit less than Tesla 6-seater models, which means that NIO is actually trying to push Tesla out of every single market. And well, I don't know if NIO, but Tesla is kind of probably doing this to themselves right now. The reception of this vehicle was overwhelmingly good and the stock jumped something like 10% yesterday when the vehicle was unveiled, closed at about plus 9%. So right now NIO is sitting at their highest point of 2025. So every single one of you investors who bought NIO shares in 2025 are now in the green. So congratulations to you all. By the way, the vehicle's name in Europe will not be ES8 because apparently ES8 is the trademark for Audi and the vehicle will be called EL8. Now, this was not the only piece of good news from the company. They have announced that they are entering 3 new markets, 3 new countries with the offering of their vehicles. Now, usually when car companies do that, they're trying to kind of group the countries geographically. So, for example, if you're entering like Europe, you would probably choose Scandinavia because countries are close to each other and you can kind of share the logistics and the sales and a lot of things. Now, NIO, as usual, went the other way. So the countries they have entered are, and yeah, just pay attention here. So Singapore is one of them, Costa Rica is the second, and Uzbekistan is the third one. I don't have any explanation for why these countries were chosen. It's not like they are known for having like very wealthy people, maybe Singapore does, but in any case, these are 3 countries which now have NIO representations in them. One possible explanation I have heard that NIO is trying to boost their stock to offer more stock to the public lately this year. Now, this is not official, this is just a speculation, but just, you know, take all good news from NIO with a grain of salt. By the way, if you find this information valuable, interesting, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the like button. Now, other piece of good news is that Morgan Stanley has reaffirmed their buy rating. They actually had a buy rating previously, they have reaffirmed it, and they have slapped a target price of $5.9 per share, which is a little bit higher than the price right now. And this is rare because, well, if you've seen some of our previous videos, you know that NIO doesn't get much love from Wall Street lately, and the average target price for NIO from Wall Street is at about $4.9 per share, so much lower than it is right now. I think I've seen one investment group which gave it a target price of $8.1 per share, but in general, Morgan Stanley is a huge organization and it's kind of being listened to on Wall Street. So this is a great piece of news and this gives the NIO stock the boost it needs right now so much. Now, the main thing I wanted to talk about is the Q2 earnings. So the Q2 earnings are expected to be unveiled at the beginning of September, and we already can figure out some of the numbers, or at least the surprises in each direction, which will happen when the numbers will come out. First of all, we are expecting the revenue numbers to drop. So the company revenue growth expected to slow down right now, a bit lower than 12% year over year, something like 11.7%, and this is down from 20.8%, which we saw last year. And this is kind of despite the fact that the deliveries of the company grew by something like 26% year over year. And why this happens? So this happens because of a couple of things. Main of them is the price war of Chinese EV makers. You probably heard about this. A lot of Chinese EV makers started slashing prices. The government had to be involved, and they kind of did the meeting with all of the biggest companies and just basically told them to cut it because it's not good for anyone. So revenue will slow down, but margins will slow down, of course, as well. We have heard about NIO slashing prices for its battery packs. The vehicles are, well, getting cheaper because NIO tries to compete with mostly with BYD. So this will all mean that NIO margins are actually going down this quarter. Now let's talk about net earnings and net loss. Currently, we are expected NIO shares to post net loss of 29 cents per share, and this is actually smaller than the Q2 2024, so year over year figure. Then it was 34 cents per share, and it should be much less than the Q1 figures this year, which was around 45 cents per share. So I think if they will manage to hit that number, it will be because of the cuts which they made earlier this year. They have announced cuts in R&D, in marketing, in a bunch of different divisions, and right now we will kind of see the impact of all of this on company's financials. But I have to say, maybe some solace for NIO shareholders. NIO is not the only company who has this problem. So pretty much all of Chinese companies are posting weaker revenues and posting weaker margins, except for XPeng. If you want to read, by the way, about XPeng, Julia has an article which actually describes this whole thing in much more details and much more data. If you're interested, go to her Seeking Alpha page. If you don't have an account for Seeking Alpha, we have an affiliate link which will give you some kind of discount, I think $30 for Seeking Alpha. That's everything I had for you. We are waiting for Q2 results of NIO, and we'll probably make another video after results will come out. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.